Mr. President, Madam Vice President, honorable members of the court. In the Pacific, we have always looked to the stars. Our ancestors navigated the vastness of the ocean and traveled immense distances. They trusted in the stars and wisdom of those who came before them. This practice, wayfinding, is more than just a method of navigation. It is a relationship. It connects those who came before with those who will follow. Every decision mattered, not only for the journey in that moment, but for the future that it shaped. Today, the world needs wayfinders, those who can guide us towards a path that protects our homes, upholds our rights, and preserves our dignity. I speak to you today as part of a global campaign led by young people and frontline communities, the Pacific Island students fighting climate change, who believe that international law must serve as a compass for justice and accountability. Yet ambiguities in its interpretation and application are hindering responses to the climate crisis, obstructing collective action, and threatening efforts to secure a just and equitable future. Our campaign for an ICJ advisory opinion was born out of a frustration with the inability of the COP processes to deliver urgent climate action. Recognizing that current efforts fall woefully short of what the world desperately needs, despite repeated warnings and overwhelming scientific evidence, even the most basic progress remains elusive. Unfortunately, arguments have been brought before this court where some choose to hide behind their good faith obligations, shamefully content with pouring billions into a dying fossil fuel industry, an industry that continues to pump out planet-killing emissions, causing significant harm, all while trying to evade accountability. Mr. President, I submit that this conduct that is driving the climate crisis is unlawful. The pursuit for climate justice requires determining the obligations of states, but is incomplete without the requisite legal consequences. For young people, the demand for reparations is crucial for justice. We have inherited a planet in decline and face the grim prospect of passing on an even more degraded world to future generations. Equally clear is the demand for immediate cessation. If greenhouse gas emissions are not stopped, we are not just risking our future, we are welcoming its demise. It is not abstract that climate change violates our fundamental human right to life. Lily Tiafa from Tuvalu recounts a harrowing experience of graves being unearthed by coastal erosion, and I quote, 9 years ago during Cyclone Pam on the island of Nui, I saw my 16-year-old cousin cuddling towards her mother's bones. I saw a mother cry out to the moana, searching for the corpse of her son, end quote. It is not abstract that climate change violates our right to a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment. Isabella Tewea from Kiribati poignantly describes her reality, and I quote, "The ocean, once a nurturing mother, has become a vengeful giant, swallowing the land it once cradled. It no longer gives life, it now takes it inch by inch. Where it once offered sustenance, it now brings destruction. Its rising tides are cold and unrelenting force that pulls homes, cultures, and futures into its depths," end quote. These are just a few examples of testimonies tied to the human rights impacted by climate change. As you deliberate, you must hold these voices in mind. These testimonies recall great sadness, loss, and pain, but they should not be taken as a call for pity or favor. Instead, they are a united call for fairness and justice. As my colleague and friend Cynthia Houniuhi said on the first day of these proceedings, it is not too late to course correct. This is why we turn to you, distinguished members of the court. Through this advisory opinion, you have the opportunity to help us course correct by holding those responsible for the climate crisis accountable, by reinforcing the importance of existing frameworks for liability and reparations, by ending emissions impunity and protecting human rights, ensuring that the legacy we leave behind is a legacy of resolve. Mr. President, Madam Vice President, honorable members of the court, 5 years ago, in a classroom in Amalus, Vanuatu, where this campaign began, young people dared to take on the impossible, taking climate change to the world's highest court. Today, we have completed that task. We have laid before this court our stories, our realities, the injustices, and the loss, with the hope that this court understands all that is at risk. Just as the wayfinders of the Pacific held the wisdom to guide us through the vast ocean to safe harbor, you hold the knowledge and the responsibility to guide international community to ensure the protection of our collective future. And you can do this simply by applying international law to the conduct responsible for climate change. Vinaka Vakalevu, Dhanyawad, and thank you.